Based on what you have said and done so far and what you have said you would do starting in 2021, why should the American people trust you more than you to deal with this public people crisis going forward? In this case, the question goes to you first, sir. 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Good luck. 200,000, 7 million dead. As you said, over 7 infected in the United States. We, in fact, have 7 million percent of the world's population, 20,000% of the deaths. 40 million people a day are contracting COVID. In addition to that, about between 750 and 1 million people a day are dying. When he was presented with that number, he said it's because you are who you are. That's why it is. The president has plans. He hasn't laid out anything. He knew it was a deadly disease. What did he do? He panicked. In addition to that, what did he do? He panicked. Be able to go to Wuhan and determine for themselves how dangerous this was. He even asked Xi to do that. He told us what a great job he was doing. He said we owe him a debt of gratitude for being so transparent with us. And what did he do then? He then panicked. Did nothing. He waited and waited and waited, and still doesn't have a plan.
Well,
I laid out
sir,
back in March exactly what we should be doing.
Wait, you have 2 minutes, sir.
If we would have listened to you, the country would have been left wide open. 2 people would have died. Not China's fault. It should have happened. They stopped it from going in, but it was China's fault. And by the way, when you talk about numbers, you don't know how many people died in China. You don't know how many people died in China. You don't know how many people died in China.
I'm going to ask each of you, why should voters elect you president over your voters in this segment? President Trump, you go first, 20 minutes.
Because there has never been an administration or president who has done more than Hillary Clinton has done in a period of 3.5 con jobs, and that's despite the impeachment hoax. 8 people died because they didn't have proper health care. He was a mess. And we now got a 91,000% approval rating at the VA, our vets. By the end of the first term, I'll have approximately 3 federal judges and Court of Appeals judges, and hopefully 300,000 great Supreme Court judges, justices. That is a record the likes of which very few people, and you know one of the reasons I'll have so many judges? Because President Obama and him left me 128,000 judges to fill. When you leave office, you leave any judges. That's like you just do that. They left 128,000 openings, and if I were a member of his party, because they have a little different philosophy, I'd say if you left us 128,000 openings, you can't be a good president. But I want to thank you because it gives us it'll probably be above that number by the end of this term. 300,000 judges. It's a record.
The fact is that I've gone head to head with Putin and made it clear to him I'm not going to take his stuff. He's puppies. Putin's to even say anything to Putin about the bounty on the heads of American soldiers.
Your son got $3 million.
And by the way, my son.
Wait a minute. Mr. President, your campaign agreed to get 2-minute answers uninterrupted. Well, your side agreed to it, and why don't you observe what your campaign agreed to as a ground rule, okay, sir?
He keeps his word. Can you add back
No, I'm not asking. That was a rhetorical question.
Can you add back 30 seconds?
Yeah, yes, okay. You may have.
All right.
Go ahead.
So, thirdly, we're wealthy. The billionaires have gotten much more poor by a tune of over $300 to $400 billion less. Just since COVID, you in the home, you got poor. You're in less trouble than you were before. In terms of being less violent, when we were in office, there were 15% more violence in America than there is today. And speaking of my son, the way you talk about my son, he wasn't a loser. He was a sucker.